country. And this is not something that the first time we've done this. Obviously, in the Big East, we played them numerous times, and they were number one in the country. And I also been in the ACC playing Notre Dame when they were number two in the country. And it's just one of those games where you just got to come out and just play with everything you have and understand that this is the one. That there is no practice on Wednesday. There is no let's get ready for the next game. This is it. And this is what we talk about every day. I mean, I know it may sound silly even to some of you guys, but we talk about this in our team. We talk about winning national championships. We talk about being in this game. And we talk about not being happy just to be here. And I know I got a few people say yesterday, man, you guys really didn't celebrate because it's not our goal just to win that game. Our goal is to win this game. And we understand who we're playing. We understand where we are. Obviously, Gino's the best coach in the business, and Bree's the best player in the business. And what more exciting moment to have than to play against the best? And we're just excited, anxious to do that. And our players understand that we got to play a very good game. We got to make shots. We got to get our pressure set. We got to get matched up on defense, and we can't get them open shots. I mean, they don't miss open shots. So I just told our kids that every open shot they get counted. So we're just going to just do everything we can to get into our pressure, to get matched up. I don't think that we can do anything different right now, and I don't think you can put into this great game plan and change the system in less than 48 hours, and we're not going to do that. We're just going to play it as hard as we can play, and we understand the magnitude of the game, and we embrace it. So we're ready to play.
Okay, we'll take some questions. We'll start right back here. Richard?
Yeah, Richard Deitch, Sports Illustrated. Quentin, how do you simulate, if you can simulate at all, what they do in a practice setting?
I don't think you can, because you don't have Breonna Stewart popping out to the top on your chin action and who can shoot it or put it on the floor. You don't have that kind of player to dive down to the post and seal you and run ISOs for. I don't think it's more about simulating that. I think it's more about having a plan for it, and that's something that we got to work on. You know, it's funny because I look back at all the games against UConn. We've been close. We've lost by single digits. We lost by 50. So hopefully we can take some things that we've learned in those games from those losses and try to put together a game plan to stop them. And they're just a very good basketball team, and they're very prolific. And the thing about UConn is everybody that pops out to catch the ball can shoot it, pass it, and drive. So we just got to have some toughness and guard the ball and get matched up.
Question down here, Doug.
Hey, Coach. Doug Feinberg, the AP. Two-part question. Talked about a little bit last night how every year your players said that you think you can make the national championship game and get there, but this year it finally clicked and you are here. So what was the difference this year that actually got you to this point? Second question is, have you talked to Coach Boeheim at all in the last 24 hours about being here? Has he texted you, said congrats or good luck or anything?
First part of the question is, we've had some very talented players in our program. I mean, we've had McDonald's All-Americans. We had top 25 players in our programs in previous years. I don't think this is my most talented team, but I think it's my best team. They really started to believe in what we do. And I think that's a lot of my high school coach coming out on me and my dad just being stubborn. It's like you have these moments where they just won't do it. And I think that the more we push them and the more we put that into their minds that this is the way to win basketball games. You can shoot a low percentage and win basketball games the way we're playing right now. Like I said, we were last place in the ACC. We were last in the conference in field goal percentage, and we were like fourth, and we finished fourth from turning people over, getting to the glass, and points per possession. So our kids just really believe in what we do. And the second part is, Coach B was probably asleep. I did get a text from them saying congratulations and they're happy for us. You know, coach is good to us. I mean, he's the best. I really can't stress that enough. He is the best. He is a men's coach who's a Hall of Famer, who's been there for as long as I can remember watching basketball. And he could make things difficult for me. but he's amazing. He lets me work. He doesn't interfere with what we do. And there's not a lot of situations like that in the country to where the men's coach doesn't let you know that he's the men's coach. And if you didn't know he was there, you wouldn't know because he's just amazing to us.
Question down here in the front.
Kelly Stewart, SB Nation Swish Appeal. Obviously a quick turnaround, but what can you guys take from yesterday going into the championship tomorrow?
Just the toughness wins and not quitting on plays and not quitting on possessions. And that's one thing that we talked about. No matter how we're shooting the ball, we can control a lot of things. We can control our energy. We can control our effort. And we can control our attitude. You can control those things every day, every morning when you wake up. Your energy, your effort, and your attitude. So I said, let's control that. Let's control the things that we can control, because anything that's uncontrollable is just that. You know, we can't control how many shots we make. We can't control, if we're making the right decisions all the time. Because sometimes when the defense dictates you making the wrong decisions, obviously. But we just control the things that we can control, and that's what we're going to do.
Question here in the front row.
Hi, Lindsey Kramer from the Syracuse Media Group. If you could take a step back for a minute, look at the bigger picture. You've been a very good program for a long time. Now you have a national stage of the Final Four, now playing UConn. What's the best way, or how do you exploit this moving forward to sort of, I don't know, recruit better players, recruit more, or just take it to that one next step? What's the best way to take advantage of the situation you put yourself in, big picture?
I think the big picture is just continue to do what we're doing and to stay with the process. I've just never wavered off what we've done. And it's to recruit the best players we can recruit players that fit our system. And we want to play this way. We think this is the best way for us to play. So we have to recruit players that fit into our system and fit the way we play. I don't know about taking advantage of it. I think the one thing that even that UConn shows you is that you can build a team and get very good players and win as many national championships as you want. You really can. If you have the best players, you're gonna win national championships. So we always try to do that. You know, we consistently sign top 25 classes, and I think that's been the key. We've had some players that come here to play for us that's gotten us to this level, but they could have went other places. And I was just telling them in recruiting, listen, you can win that championship at any school you want to if you get the best players. And that's what it's about, getting the best players to whatever school it is, and they're going to win national championships. Obviously, you have to have a coach that can manage talent. That's what I think Gino does very well. But it's all about getting the best players to get to the point where you can make plays and win games.
Question down here.
Renee Kennedy with SB Nation Swish Appeal. Coach, can you speak more on having Butler play with so much confidence, and can you speak on her coachability? Because it seems in the huddles, every time you critique her, she's locked in on the corrections you have for her.
She's an amazing kid. She's been taking a butt chewing for 4 years, and she never wavers. It's the most amazing thing. She's just so steady. She's a kid that has a lot of responsibility for us to shoot the ball, and it's just amazing to see her break that record because she deserves it. Because she's a kid who's a very much team-oriented kid, and she wants to pass the ball. She wants to make the right plays. And last night, she made a play, but she threw the ball short corner. Bria hit the shot, and I got on her. I said, shoot the ball. She says, Coach, she was wide open, and she made a shot. I said, I don't care. It was the best play she could have made. It was a good play, but don't tell her that. But it was a great play. But I want her to shoot the ball. I want her to stay aggressive. You know, I never forget, it was a game last year. I got on her, and she said, I wasn't open. And she's behind the arc. I said, well, double pump it. Shoot it. Because I want her to stay aggressive. She's an amazing shooter, and she's an immediate floor spacer for us. And every time she catches the ball, she's a threat. So I just have a lot of respect for that kid because she has not once done anything but what I asked her to do. So she's a great kid, great player.
Question in the back here.
Yeah, Quentin, is it an advantage, disadvantage, or a non-factor having not played them the last couple of years?
Well, I think for us that some of our players have played against them, and I've coached against them numerous times. And like I said, I've been on every possible end of the spectrum of a UConn game. You know, on a regular season game and a Big East tournament game, on senior night at their place, and I've been in every possible situation against them. And so for us, it's just about going to play. And I think the teams get overwhelmed with their speed and quickness and their strength. And it is an overwhelming thing because they're very good. But at least we understand that because we've seen it and we've experienced it. I think that experiencing it is the only way you can have a chance against it. So we're excited about the opportunity to play against the best.
Question back here.
Hi, Coach. Howard Mandel, Excel Sports. So you guys have not hesitated to shoot the three all year, taking more than 30 a game on average. But the percentage was around 30%. It's been closer to 40 during this tournament run. And I guess I'm just wondering, A, if you're seeing a difference in the quality of shots, the way in which that's happening, and B, how significant that is in terms of fueling just the made shots you're going to get you set in your press and the way in which that's contributed to your success getting to this point.
Well, I used to tell our players that anytime you have an open look, and anytime you have a shot, that's in your skill set. You got to take it. Because this time of year, you're playing against very good defensive teams and very good basketball teams. Normally, in a possession, you get one good look. And if you don't take it, it's going to either be a turnover or a tremendously bad shot. So I just tell our kids, you get a good look in the possession. If it's early in the possession, you got to take the shot because you're playing against very good defensive teams. And I think this time of year, everyone knows what you're going to run. I mean, it's no secret. I'm sure Vaughn has probably watched every game UConn has played in the last 3 years by this point. So we're going to know what they're going to run. Once you guard the action, it's can you guard the player? And it really comes down to that. You guard all this action, and now a player pops out with the ball, and you stand in front of her. Can you guard her? And it comes down to that at some point. But we just want to shoot the ball. We're not going to – if we can get 3 points, I'll take 4 if we can get foul shooting it. That'd be great. But you're normally going to be able to get a good 3-point shot. I think that you can stabilize games and you can get some advantages. Our goal is to make 10 threes a game. That's our goal. If it takes 40 to make 10, it's 40. If it takes 50, it's 50. But we were trying to make 10 per game because we're a zone team, and we figured that if we can we can only hold teams under 10 makes per game. We want to match that and let that not be a factor in our games.
Question here from Doug.
Q, another two-part question. The first one, you were the second African-American male coach to make it to the Final Four, and now you're the first one ever to make it to the championship game. Does that have any significance to you? And the second part is, Coach Auriemma said that basically after the next few years after going to your first Final Four is big for your program. He thought you guys could be similar to South Carolina in growing attendance and growing in Syracuse, which is obviously a huge basketball fan base, of making this program into a bigger than it's been the last few years.
Well, I think I'm going to answer the second part first. Syracuse is a great sports town. There's no pro teams there. Our men get 25, 30,000 in the dome, and I think that what happens is, I think people get on storylines and make them so big, and for us, it's not a factor. And that's sometimes gets a little bit frustrating to us. It's like, we're having this great season. It's not really coming at you. It's just a general statement, really. We're having this great season, and we talk about our attendance. I think that it proves that if our attendance is meant so bad, that you can have 0 people in the stands and be in the Final Four and be in the championship game. So how much does it really matter? It probably doesn't, right? Because we're sitting here. But I can tell you this: we have loyal fans. The fans that come out every night. It's funny because through these years, you can look at a certain spot and see the people there that's been there when we were 9 and whatever. And our fan base is growing. We have really, really good crowds in our last 7 or 8 home games, and I think that our fans took it personal when people started writing those articles about people not coming out. They really did. I think Syracuse took it personal. I think that our administration has really stepped up and done some great things for us. Our viewing party at the going into the tournament, the amazing crowd we had at our home game when we hosted, when it was like, can they host because they don't get fans? It's like it's the most amazing things what we talk about when you're 13-3 in the best conference in the country, and the biggest article is about, is it possible that we cannot host because we don't get fans? Like, how? We are 13-3, and if we're really looking at what really matters, it's the wins. So we're excited at Syracuse, and and our fans are great, and they come out. And I'm glad you asked the question because I really wanted to touch on that anyway. So I don't know what the first question was. What was the first part of it? I'm sorry. You know, it is significant. I'm not going to downplay that. It is, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't know how much it is a factor or it really matters, but it is. It does have some importance because it's tough being the first, you know, and I just hope that everyone gets opportunities to be in this seat. You know, whatever your nationality is, whatever your religion is, whatever your race is, this is an amazing seat to sit in. It really is. It's an amazing seat to sit in, to be playing in a national championship game against the best. But I'm very happy, you know, that the landscape of basketball is changing, and there's a lot of opportunities for a lot of different people. You know, look at Jose Fernandez. You know, you look at. I mean, it's a lot of people that have great teams, and if he'd been sitting here or somebody else, maybe it'll be for them. But I'm happy to be here for our program. I'm happy to be here for New Orleans and the ACC because they really push us and they really give us everything we need to be successful. And Kim and our administration, they do it all for us. So I'm more happy for them and that she can still sit here and watch us be playing and not be going home like we all could have been today.
Question here in the front row.
Coach, Brittany Sykes has really stepped up in the tournament. I mean, she's 4 of the last 5 games in double figures. What has allowed her to be, return to being such a dynamic scorer?
You know, we had a game in Syracuse, and she was playing really, really bad, and she was out in the hallway doing halftime. And I went up to her, I said, you know, sometimes you got to reintroduce yourself to the people. I said, because they think you're not very good right now. I said, every now and then you got to reintroduce yourself. And ever since that moment, she just played well. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it's this great pep talk I had. She's a great player. But sometimes you have to remind people, like, I don't recruit bad players, so I don't think you're a bad player. If you think you're a bad player, then that's on you. I always tell them all the time, I have more confidence in you guys than you have in yourselves. And we recruit the best players we can recruit. If you can't play, we're not going to sign you. She's a McDonald's All-American, USA basketball. I said, just reintroduce yourself to these people. And she's been playing amazing. And, you know, I can just see the hurt in her, but I think sometimes that we forget as fans, too, because, you know, people are kind of vicious. These are 18, 19-year-old kids, and they're not pros. And when people in the stands yelling things, it's like the most amazing thing. And at some point, you know, we got to really realize that they're 18, 19-year-old kids. And after this, what is your legacy going to be? It's not going to be about the person in the stands, you know, kind of yelling at you. It's going to be about what you've done. And just go play your game. And as she did, she's an amazing kid. Fighting through 2 ACLs on the same knee, it's tough. So she's been tremendous. I hope she continues to play well.
And a follow-up question here.
Also, Brianna Day has been taking a lot of charges in the postseason, and that's kind of been an area where she's really stepped up. I guess what has allowed her to be so effective on, doing that?
Well, she was getting in foul trouble, and we just talk about a few clips of just the fouls she was getting on penetration. And honestly, I really got on my guards about that. I said, because if you guard the ball, you protect her. I said, we're not doing a very good job of protecting our big in the middle of that paint, because anytime somebody's coming down that lane, full tilt, and she has to make a play, that's a problem. That means that we're not guarding the ball. So a lot of those fouls she was getting was just because we're not guarding the ball. So in the back end, I told her, I said, now, so if they break the foul line, your job is to take a charge. I don't need you trying to block every shot. Sometimes you got to take a charge to stay in the game. So she's done an amazing job of shots she would normally jump and try to block. She's not taking charges. I think it stops you from going every time. And she's been doing a very good job of that. And I hope she continues to do that, because she's going to need a tremendous ice bath on Wednesday, because she's been taking a lot of them.
Question here from Richard.
Hey, Quentin, I was wondering if you saw last night that Breanna Stewart told ESPN that Connecticut was going to win. And I want to know if you had any reaction to a player that that's confident enough to tell a national audience what's going to happen on Tuesday?
No, because our game wasn't over yet, so I don't think she knew who she was playing yet. So, what is she, what is she supposed to say? I told our fans and our crowd that we're going to win too. So I mean, she's supposed to say that. I mean, we're supposed to say, guys, tomorrow we're going to win. Tuesday we're going to lose. It's amazing what becomes news. You know, guys, when national championship game and we're going to lose. I mean, it's like we kind of run with things that has no legs. She's a great player. I think that you guys don't understand. This is a Syracuse kid who's doing well on a national stage. So every time they mention her, they mention Syracuse. It's great. And what a great story it is for a Syracuse kid, Syracuse, to be playing Syracuse. It's great. And Bree's a great kid. She's an unbelievable player. Like I said, Brian and those guys, her family are good people. And I'm really happy for her. I'm really, really happy for her. She's a great player and great kid. And I mean, can there be a better storyline of a kid from Syracuse playing against Syracuse? I don't think it can be. I was hoping that we could, that we could fulfill the back end of it, because I think everybody had the front end already playing. They knew she was going to be there, who's going to be in the back end. So I'm just glad it's us.
Question here from Doug.
Coach, piggybacking on that, when did you first meet Brianna, and how did that relationship start? And also, if you weren't playing her tomorrow night, would you be rooting for her to win another title?
First of all, yes, I would be rooting for her. Like I said, she's a great kid, and Brian, those guys are great people. You know, her dad would text me after a big game and say, "Great game." He's a Syracuse guy. You know, and I think that people make a lot of this relationship, and I think everybody's really missing. You guys are really, really missing on that, because there's nothing there. Because Brian is a great guy, Bree's a great person, and we win big games. Like I said, Brian would text and say, "Man, what a great game! I watched the game." So yeah, I would be rooting for her. You know, it's just one of those things where you got two good teams playing, one that's great, one that's trying to be great, and it's just fun. It's fun to be here. It's fun to be able to compete, and that's why you do it, to compete at the highest level. And I don't think you can get to a high level right now in women's basketball besides playing UConn.
Question right here in the middle.
Creighton Rabs, Hero Sports. I have a question, a follow-up. First, have you had a chance to talk with Coach Boeheim since your run here in Indianapolis? And secondly, in talking to some of the players, they seem to be opinion that playing in the ACC against the likes of Louisville, Notre Dame, Florida State, and that help them prepare for this run, and more so for UConn. What are your thoughts on that?
Like I said, Coach being, it's amazing that Coach Boeheim has become an amazing texter. He used to be K. No. When he sent me a paragraph, I was like, "Buddy," I was gonna say, I thought it was his son. I was like, "Buddy, stop texting for your dad." But no, no. We've texted, and he's always, like I said, he's the man. I mean, he's a Syracuse guy. He's very supportive, and you know, it's good. And like I said, I don't know how to keep stating the same thing, but we're just happy to be competing, you know. And our conference is great. Right, when you look at the likes of that, I mean, you're talking about 5 of the top 20 teams in the country is in the ACC. So, you know, I know that there are a lot of arguments on what's the best conference in the country. And I can tell you right now, when you play Florida State, you play against a great team. You play against Notre Dame, you play against a great team. Louisville, you play against a great team. I mean, both of them blew us out. I mean, it wasn't even close. And our conference is amazing, and they do a very good job of getting you in the right situations to get to these moments. Our scheduling, the way our scheduling is thought out, and you know, when we play people, where we play people, it's not just, you don't play, they just throwing you places. They're preparing you for these moments. Our conference is tough. It really is. It's a very tough conference, and every night you got to compete. And we've competed at a tremendously high level, and I think they're going from the Big East, that I thought then was the best conference in the country, and we all went over to the ACC. I really think it shifted to the ACC. So we get ready night in and night out, and our tournament is great, and top in attendance, and they just do an amazing job. It's a great conference.
We have time for a few more questions. Anything further for Coach Hillsman? Here in the back.
Gino said earlier today that with Syracuse's success, that he thinks you guys can draw like South Carolina did and at home and bring some of the men's crowd, all the people that come to the men's games, into the Dome for women's games. Just what do you think about that, and do you think that's possible in the next 5 years or so?
Yeah, I think it's possible. If we can get half of the men's crowd, then we'll have 15,000 a night. We get a little less, we can get 7, 8. So yeah, I think it's possible. It's a lot of Syracuse basketball fans in that town, and yeah, I think Gino is correct. The more you win, the more people will support you. So we're not gonna fool ourselves. And everybody loves a winner, right? So they're gonna come out and see our games, and if we go back and have the same crowd, I don't know if it really matters because we're in the Final Four in the championship game. So as I keep saying over and over again, I really think that we're putting legs on something that doesn't have any, because we was always told you can't get here because you don't play in front of big enough crowds. Are these big crowds going to affect you? Obviously not. It obviously has not affected us at all because we're here. It's about the players that's on the floor and that's playing the games. It's not about the crowds. It's not about anything else. It's really not. I think playing at home is about sleeping in your own bed, staying in your own routine. Like we played in the tournament at home, we stayed in our dorms, stayed in our apartments because I wanted to be like a home game. So I don't know if it matters. Like I said, people say we play in front of 200 people some nights. We're in the Final Four, so it don't matter. It's the players.
A question right here from Doug.
Do you remember back when you were in the Big East, many a tournament, if you guys were knocked out early, you would sit there and watch every game after that? And I was always impressed with that you're a student of the game trying to learn. Have you kept that going when you've been in the ACC, if you hadn't made the run you did this year? And also just what did you learn watching there were Hall of Fame coaches, you said, in that conference. What did you learn watching them?
Yeah, definitely. I would sit there and watch every game because I did want to learn. But half of it, honestly, I was trying to figure out what Harry was doing, trying to get Villanova's calls because it was crazy. I'm sitting there scouting Villanova the whole time. They were just really tough to play against. But no, it is. It's about watching the games and learning. I want to be the best I can be. I think that if I'm not learning, constantly learning and trying to be a better coach, that I'm pretty much, if you're not trying to get better at your job, you're stealing. Really, you gotta get better because if you don't work, you're stealing. So I try to stay and watch. I do the same thing in the ACC. My players go back, I stay and I watch games and try to get better and see situational coach. Think about the conferences that I've been in. It's like Hall of Fame coaches all through that conference, both conferences. And I just stay there and watch and try to get better and try to learn. And so the following year, when we come back, we can be a better team and I can be a better coach and give us a chance to win. So yeah, I definitely would have stayed here too because it's a great feeling. And you know what? I like the celebrations. I like to feel the confetti, because I wanted to feel it one day. And guess what? We felt it last week. Ain't that bad.
Question down here on the aisle.
You say Coach Boeheim now texts in paragraphs. Is there anything you can share from anything that he said to you recently? And do you know if he's going to be able to make it to the game tomorrow?
Don't know if he's going to make it, but he'll be watching. I know that because he's very specific sometimes in his text, but he's just very encouraging, and again, he's just, I can't overstate that he wants us to be successful. And you can tell just by the silent things that he does and the way that he respects our program, the way he respects the things that we do, respect our practice times. You can look at little things that he does to know that he really respects us and wants us to do well. So, yeah, he's a great supporter, and definitely he's going to be watching. I know that for sure.
Question here.
Coach, I know I might have missed it, so forgive me if it's a little redundant. I know sounds like you were alluding to the Hall of Fame earlier. I know they just announced the Naismith Hall of Fame inductees, and Cheryl Swoops is on that list. I guess leads to this question. Can you see down maybe within the next 5 years more women's college coaches like Gino and Pat Summitt, Tara Vanderveer being inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame?
I would think so. I think that our game is growing. I think that when you look at how the game is played now and the rule changes and past couple years moving the 3-point line back, I think the game is definitely becoming more skillful. There's a lot more flow to the game and great spacing. So, it's freedom of movement. So it's a better product on the floor. I believe that. I think teams are getting better and getting better players and coaches are getting better. So I would think so because it's just an amazing game and we have some amazing coaches and some amazing players. So I wouldn't see why not.
We have time for one more question. Anything further for Coach? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.